The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been this quiet. Representatives from over 70 advanced species sat in silence, their eyes fixed on the holograms playing above the central table. They were watching the destruction of the Zarkali. Fleet dash again. In the footage, Earth's skies lit up with deadly precision. Zarkali warships exploded without warning. Human vessels moved like shadows, fast and deadly. No noise, no chaos. Just cold, controlled destruction. When the footage ended, the lights returned. No one spoke. The council's high speaker, a tall, crystal-skinned Viren named Lothan, finally broke the silence. This is not possible. The Zarkali are not weak, said another. They conquered 5 sectors last year. And Earth wasn't even considered part of the galactic map, added the Dreevy diplomat, twitching nervously. Someone at the far end of the table stood. He was old. His robes were tattered, his eyes dim. Ambassador Trolloc of the Gorun race? I told you. This would happen, he said quietly. I told you 100 years ago. Many looked at him with disbelief. You spoke of legends, one delegate said. Ghost stories, said another. No one believed those were true. Trolloc raised a shaking hand and pointed at the central hologram, still frozen on the image of a human ship. Then explain that, he whispered. Look at the symbol. That skull, that red triangle, it matches the old records. The same ones found on dead planets long before any of your species reached the stars. He pulled out a small device and activated an older hologram. The room gasped. It showed an ancient battlefield, blackened by fire, broken machines, bones turned to dust. On a stone wall, a single image remained, the same human skull in a red triangle. The Deathworlders, Trolloc said softly. They were real, and now they are awake. Outside the council chambers, news spread fast on the trade networks. In pirate dens, in military channels, Earth has returned. Do not provoke the Deathworlders. Zarkali fleet destroyed in minutes. Some laughed it off. Some began hiding their ships. A few started building escape bunkers on faraway moons. But not all were afraid. On a shadowy station at the edge of the galaxy, a young warrior from the Rakari species stood before his clan leaders. They are strong, he said, but not unbeatable. The Rakari were a warrior race, proud and bold. They believed in testing strength, even if it meant death. We should strike now, the young one said, before they spread. His leader narrowed her eyes. You are brave, she said, but also foolish. The last time our kind faced them, our homeworld turned to ash. The young warrior paused. I was told that story was just a warning. It was, she replied. Us. A warning written in our own blood. Meanwhile, in secret, some council members began to panic. If Earth had such power, what else were they? Hiding? Weapons? Armies? Allies? Some feared humanity had technology beyond anything in the known galaxy. Others feared something worse, that humans didn't fear death. But they embraced it. We must act, said one hidden voice in a private channel. We cannot wait for them to strike first, said another. A preemptive attack? Maybe, before it's too late? They started planning, quietly, carefully. But humans were already watching, back on Earth. Deep underground, the woman in the black suit stood before a large circular screen. On it, dozens of alien worlds were marked. Red dots blinked over them. Movement, planning, schemes. A voice beside her said, They're starting to talk. She nodded. They always do before they try something stupid. What now? She looked up now. We remind them. On a council world called Janari, Prime, people were walking through their city when the sky turned dark. Not clouds, not nightfall. A human ship hovered above their capital. Massive, black, silent. It did nothing. No message. No weapons. Just watched. On another world, Elistar V, a council military training base, received a package. No one knew how. It got inside. Inside the box was a single item, a human combat helmet, burnt, scratched, but still intact. Attached to it, Note: we remember every war, even the ones you forget. Back in the council chamber, fear returned. They are not just strong, Trolloc said. They are watching us all. Across the galaxy, fear grew like a storm. The Zarkali were broken. The council was in chaos. Rumors spread faster than light. Stories of silent human ships, ancient warnings, and vanished fleets filled every spaceport, every dark corner of deep space. But Earth remained quiet. No threats, no messages, no speeches, just silence. That silence was louder than any war cry. Then, one day, the silence ended. A single transmission reached the Galactic Council. No encryption, no hidden code. Just simple, clear words spoken in old galactic standard. The speaker was a human woman in a black suit, the same woman seen on the destroyed Zarkali ship. She looked straight into the camera. "We do not seek war," she said calmly, "but we will not kneel. You came to our skies uninvited. You attacked us. We defended ourselves. Now we watch." The message ended. That was all. Just one message, but the galaxy shook. Hours later they appeared. Human ships. Dozens. Of them uncloaked above council worlds. Massive vessels with no names, no colors, and no sound. They didn't attack. They didn't speak. They simply hovered above cities, near defense platforms, around military moons, watching, waiting on the planet cared for. Commander Drell of the Planetary Defense Force looked up at the human ship above his base. "It's not moving," he whispered. His second-in-command asked, "Should we shoot it down?" Drell stared at the sleek black ship. "No, that would be suicide." "But they're invading our airspace," Drell interrupted. "They're not here to invade. They're here to make a point." He was right. Across 14 council planets, the same thing happened. Human ships arrived, hovered in the sky, and did nothing. And yet, no one felt safe. In the council meeting chamber, arguments erupted. "They're threatening us. They haven't fired a single shot. They're watching our weapons, our cities, our leaders. This is intimidation. They are only doing what we tried to do to them." Ambassador Trolloc stood once more. "They could have attacked," he said, "but they didn't, so we should wait until they do." One angry voice replied. Trolloc shook his head. "No, we should ask why they haven't." That question hung in the air like smoke. On Earth, deep inside the command center, the woman in the black suit stood in front of a long table. Seated around her were other humans, leaders of old divisions, commanders of ancient fleets, AI, minds older than most galactic civilizations. "Phase 1 complete," she said. "They've seen our ships. They've heard our message. Now we prepare for the next move." A man with steel-gray eyes leaned forward. "They're planning something. We've intercepted council chatter. Some want peace. Others want revenge." Nodded. "They'll try again. They always do." "So what's our response?" She looked around the room, her voice cold and steady. "Let them know we don't fear them. Let them feel what we felt when they came to our skies." She tapped the screen beside her. A galaxy-wide deployment order was sent. Black Watch Fleet. Activate. Ghost Division. Mobilize. Orbital Sentinels. Move into position. The Death Worlders were no longer just defending. They were preparing. On the planet, Vostera Prime, a council diplomat, woke up to find a coin on his bedside table. He lived alone. His doors were locked. No alarms went off. He picked up the coin. It was old, heavy, human-made. On one side, the image of Earth. On the other, a phrase in ancient English. "We remember, we do not forgive." He dropped it. His hands were shaken. At a secret council base, the council's intelligence chief watched footage of human ships landing on unclaimed moons and dark asteroids. "Why take those?" his aide asked. The chief replied quietly. "They're surrounding us, not attacking, just waiting." "They're giving us a chance," the aide whispered. "Yes," the chief said. "A chance to back away." But not everyone would. Some saw fear as weakness. Others saw silence as a challenge. A hidden alliance was already forming behind council walls, species who believed Earth had to be destroyed now before it grew stronger. They didn't understand Earth was already strong. Long ago, in the cold dark of space, a message was carved into stone on a dying planet. The planet's surface was cracked, its cities in ruins, and its people gone. But one structure remained, an old tower standing alone in the dust. It, glowing letters burned into the wall, never cross the Death Worlders, never wake Earth. The galaxy called it an ancient myth, stories made by frightened civilizations. No one had seen these Death Worlders for thousands of years. Some said they never existed, but the Zarkali Dominion didn't care. They were conquerors, strong, proud, and ruthless. Their empire stretched across hundreds of systems. To them, Earth was just another forgotten rock. One day a Zarkali scout ship, named Daggerclaw, received a strange signal. It was old, buried deep in the void between stars. The signal had no words, just a humming sound, like a machine trying to breathe. Commander Vark, leader of the Daggerclaw, ordered his crew to follow it. "We chase ghosts now?" his pilot asked. "No," Vark replied. "We hunt myths and make them bleed." As the ship flew closer to the signal's source, strange things began happening. Their systems blinked, lights flickered, and the navigation started spinning. A thick fog of unknown energy surrounded them. Then, silence. No one heard from the Daggerclaw again. 3 days later, Zarkali High Command sent a second ship, Stormbeak, to investigate. It was larger, stronger, and ready for war. As it approached the same coordinates, they found something floating. Debris and a half-burned hull. It was the Daggerclaw. There were no bodies, no escape pods, just floating metal and blood-like stains. Then the crew of the Stormbeak saw something that made them stop breathing. On one piece of the ship's remains, carved deeply into the steel, with something impossibly sharp, was a single word: run. Captain Kree of the Stormbeak stared at it. "Who did this?" he asked. "What kind of enemy leaves a message like that?" Science officer looked pale. "That hull is made of Zarkali titanium. No plasma blade can cut it like that." "Then what did?" the captain asked again. The answer never came. Suddenly, all their screens went dark. All sensors failed. Every weapon system shut down. In the blackness, something moved. Not a ship, not a missile. It glided past their windows, massive and silent. It had no markings, no lights. Only one shape was clear on its side: a white skull inside a red triangle. "Unknown contact," the weapons officer shouted. "It's not Zarkali. It's not Council. Not even listed." Before the crew could act, the Stormbeak was hit with a pulse wave. No explosion, just a deep hum that shook every bone in their bodies. Their engines died. Their minds screamed, and then silence. The Stormbeak never made it back either. News traveled fast. Whispers spread across the stars. 2 ships gone, no survivors. Only a warning left behind. The Council of Species called an emergency meeting. Members of 100 races gathered, confused and afraid. "What happened near Sol?" someone asked. "The Zarkali woke something," an old ambassador said. His skin was wrinkled, and his eyes were full of old pain. "I remember stories." He continued, "From my grandfather's grandfather, about a world called Earth, a planet of storms and fire, a death world." "Aren't those stories just myths?" a younger voice asked. The elder shook his head slowly. "Oh, they were real. My ancestors saw them in battle. If they don't fight like us, they become war." Some members laughed, others did not. One ambassador from the Varnok Confederacy stood. "The Zarkali are strong. If something destroyed 2 of their ships so easily, then it is not weak. We must take this seriously." But it was too late. Earth was already awake. On a small human moonbase, hidden deep under the surface. Alarms blinked red. AI systems hummed to life. Old war satellites reactivated after centuries of silence. A voice echoed in the command chamber. It was calm, cold, human. Foreign signal detected. Recon vessel intercepted. Protocols initiated. Somewhere beneath Earth's crust, deep in a forgotten bunker, metal groaned. A giant machine opened its eyes. Long black arms, steel jaw. The ancient guardian of Earth had returned. Humanity was no longer sleeping. The Zarkali Dominion didn't believe in fear. They believed in force. When their two ships vanished near Earth, they refused to accept the truth. Instead of caution, they chose violence. Instead of retreat, they sent a message to the galaxy. Earth belongs to the Dominion. A full attack fleet was launched, 10 warships, heavily armed and armored. They didn't expect a fight. Expected surrender. General Kren led the mission. He was old, proud, and known for crushing weaker species. He stood tall in his command room, smiling as the ships jumped into Sol System. "We will take Earth in one cycle," he said. "Then we'll show the Council who leads this galaxy." The fleet moved in fast. They scanned Earth from orbit. Green lands, blue oceans, massive cities. But no military response. No warships in space, one officer reported. No defenses. "On the moon," said another. "Are they really so weak?" Kren laughed. He ordered his ships to move closer. As they neared Earth, the skies above the planet changed. Suddenly, the clouds shifted. The stars seemed to blink. And then, the sky burned. Without warning, beams of light sliced through the void. Earth's hidden defense systems came online. Old weapons from forgotten wars still fully active. Dozens of railguns fired from deep bunkers on Earth's surface. Invisible satellites launched hypersonic missiles. The moon, once silent, opened its eyes, revealing massive cannons hidden beneath its craters. One Zarkali ship exploded before it even knew it was hit. The rest screamed in panic. "Where are these weapons coming from?" "We can't see the launch sites, shields failing. It's too fast." In less than 2 minutes, 6 Zarkali warships were gone. General Kren stood frozen. How? How is this possible? They planned for war, his second-in-command. Whispered, and we gave it to them. Kren ordered full retreat. But the humans were not done. 3 human ships uncloaked black, angular and silent. They didn't look like normal warships. No bright colors, no emblems. Just pure, sharp. Death in metal form. One of them spoke. Not with voice, but with cold text across all Zarkali's screens. "You were warned. The human ships didn't fire. They just watched." Kren's ship tried to flee. But a pulse from the human flagship stopped it mid-flight. Engines dead. Off. Life support failing. Then, a single human figure appeared on the view screen. A woman in a dark suit. No helmet. She looked straight into the camera and said calmly, "This was your first and final mistake." The screen went black. Only one Zarkali ship escaped. It was badly damaged, leaking fuel and dragging bodies of the dead. The crew didn't speak. They were broken, shaken. The ship reached Zarkali, space days later, and sent a short message to High Command. "We attacked Earth. They did not scream. They did not run. They destroyed us without mercy. We saw death, and it was human." Across the galaxy, the news spread like fire. The Council of Species watched the battle recordings. No one believed what they saw. Earth, the Forgotten World, had beaten the Zarkali, Dominion's best fleet, without losing a single ship. The Council held another emergency meeting. "What do we do now?" asked the Cernai delegate. "We're supposed to be extinct," said another. One old voice, quiet but firm, answered. They were sleeping. But now they remember. On Earth, the humans watched in silence. No cheering, no pride, only cold preparation. The woman in the dark suit stood in the same underground bunker. She gave a short command. "Begin deployment. Let them know we're awake." Above dozens of Council planets, human ships started appearing, not to attack, but to watch. They hovered in the sky like silent shadows. No communication. No response, just a message written in the stars. "Do not cross us again." In the quiet dark of deep space, a new plan took shape. A secret betrayal. Inside a hidden station near the edge of the galaxy, 5 council species met in secret. They called themselves the Preservers, but their goal was not peace. It was destruction. "We must strike first," said the Rellan diplomat. "Humans are spreading, watching, planning." The Kuru commander hissed. "They pretend they want peace, but they fly warships above our worlds. They're death worlders," added the Malari tactician. "Sooner or later they will burn everything." One voice tried to stop them. A young Varnock officer said carefully, "They haven't attacked anyone." "What if we're wrong?" The others laughed. "Then we'll kill a few scouts. Send a warning. They won't dare retaliate." Plan was set. Their target, a human supply ship, the Solace Runner. It carried food, medicine, and tech to a small colony on the edge of human space. An easy target. Lightly guarded, or so they thought. 3 attack ships moved silently through the stars. No names, no records, just pure stealth and speed. They found the Solace Runner near a gas giant. The ship looked peaceful, small, no weapons visible. The ambush began. Plasma torpedoes flew through space. Energy beams ripped through the quiet. The Solace Runner was hit once, twice, then stopped moving. The attackers moved in close, ready to board. But something was wrong, too easy to quiet. Then, the stars around them changed suddenly. 5 black ships uncloaked around the ambushers. No warning, no signal. Each was twice the size of the attackers. Their hulls bore the same symbol, a skull inside a red triangle, the Ghost Division. Deep voice echoed on all enemy comms. "You attacked a civilian vessel. You have been marked. Panic. Get us out of here." Jump drives offline. "We're surrounded." Ghost Division didn't fire. They moved in fast and quiet. In under 3 minutes, the ambusher ships were disabled. Engines fried. Weapons melted. Power drained. Then the humans boarded. What happened next was strange. No one died. The attackers were captured, stunned and chained. And then returned. One by one, the captured ships were dropped off at the homeworlds of the 5 species involved. No guards, no demands. But each ship had something new. On the outer hull, burned in with white fire, was a message in Galactic. "Standard. We showed mercy. Do not test us again." The council was shocked. The news spread like a virus. Attackers captured, returned alive, shamed in front of their own people. This was not war. This was humiliation. The leaders of the Preservers were exposed. Many lost power. Some went into hiding. Others tried to blame each other, but it was too late. The galaxy now understood something terrifying. Humans knew everything. They had watched the plan unfold, and they had set the trap in the council chamber. Angry voices filled the air. They played us. They let the ambush happen just to prove a point. This was psychological warfare. Ambassador Trolloc stood again. "No," he said softly. "This was a message." "What message?" "It's that they are not animals. They are not conquerors. They are something worse." He paused. "Hunters." On Earth, inside the underground command center, the woman in the black suit reviewed the footage of the ambush. Behind her stood a tall man in gray armor, his face hidden behind a helmet. "Too easy," he said. She nodded. "They underestimated us. They always do. Should we escalate?" She looked at the blinking stars on her screen, red dots marking every threat, every whisper, every plan. "Not yet," she replied. "Let them think they still have control." He tilted his head. "We'll try again." Her voice was calm, cold. "Next time, we won't return them." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, fear began to settle in. Not panic, not chaos, just a cold realization. Humanity was playing a different game. They didn't shout, they didn't roar. They watched, waited, and struck only when needed, and when they did. No one forgot. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, deep under the sands of a dead planet, something woke up. A machine, ancient, rusted, buried for thousands of years, began to hum. Its lights flickered. Its arms moved. and it spoke one word in a language long forgotten: Earth. Elsewhere, in the ruins of a lost civilization, a tower began to glow for the first time in over 1,000 cycles. The carvings on its walls lit up images of war, of fire, of human soldiers standing in the smoke. An explorer ran from the tower screaming. The stories were true. He shouted, "They fought the gods and lived." Throughout the galaxy, old machines long thought dead began to activate. They were not human. They were built by races that had once fought against Earth and lost. Their purpose was clear, too. Warn the future, to record the past, to remind everyone what happened the last time humanity rose. On the planet Varela, a mining team uncovered something strange. A human sword. Old, rusted, but still sharp. It had no rust from time, still radiated heat. Beside it, a helmet made of dark metal, the skull scratched into the surface. The miners dropped everything and ran. The artifacts were sent to the council for study. The experts were silent. "These are older than our history," one said. "How is the blade still hot?" Another asked. No one could answer. But the room grew colder. At the same time, reports came in from border colonies. Ships had gone missing, but not destroyed. They simply vanished. No wreckage, no signal, no escape pods. Then small clues appeared. Piece of alien armor, left neatly folded on a landing pad. Flag from a pirate clan delivered to their rivals, soaked in red dust. A recording only 2 seconds long. Heavy breathing and human boots on steel floors. Every whisper said the same thing. They're watching again. In the council chamber, fear turned into superstition. "We are dealing with ghosts," someone said. "No," replied another, trembling. Worse. "We are dealing with memory." Ambassador Trolloc stood slowly. His voice was old, but steady. "These machines, these ruins, they are not accidents. The galaxy tried to erase what humans did, but the galaxy failed." He tapped on his datapad. An image appeared on the screen, a star system with a red warning circle around it. This place was once called Vornix's End. 1,000 years ago, an empire ruled there. They tried to invade Earth, and someone asked. There is nothing left of them, not even dust. Meanwhile, on a far-off moon, a young alien boy wandered into the forest. He saw a figure standing at the edge of the trees. Tall, silent, not from his planet. The boy asked, "Are you lost?" The figure didn't move. Then it knelt and handed the boy a metal tag. The boy took it. It read, "Humanity is awake." He looked up. The figure was gone. Back on Earth, deep in the underground command base, the woman in the black suit stood in front of a new map. It was no longer just the galaxy. It showed ancient battlefields, ruins, markers of forgotten wars. There. "Finding the old warnings," said one officer. She nodded. "Good. Let them remember." "What about the ones who still want to strike?" "They'll come. They always do. And the machines. They're lighting up." She turned, eyes cold as steel. They were built to speak one truth. That if humans ever returned to the stars, the galaxy would remember what fear tastes like. In a secret council lab, scientists tried to study a human weapon recovered from a deep space wreck. When they activated it, a voice echoed from the pieces. "You should have left us alone." The galaxy was changing, not because humans were attacking, but because the shadows of the past were walking again. Old stories, old fears, old weapons, and behind it all Earth. Watched quietly, never saying too much, letting the fear grow on its own. Because that was the real power of the Deathworlders. They didn't have to speak. The galaxy spoke for them. The galaxy was holding its breath. Human warships hovered silently. Ancient ruins glowed with warnings. Lost machines whispered forgotten truths. Most species backed away. Most chose silence. Most listened to the fear, but not the Zarkali, even after. Their first defeat after their fleet was destroyed, after their shame spread across the stars, they still believed they could win. The Zarkali, high warlord stood before his generals. "They are bluffing," he said. "They have shown strength, but not punishment. They are testing us. We must show them real power." Some generals hesitated. Others nodded. The warlord pointed to a red dot on the map. Mars, a human colony, growing peaceful, full of civilians. "And researchers?" He grinned. "We strike there. We burn it down. Then we offer peace on our terms." The plan was simple, cruel, fast, no warning, no chance to flee. Just fire. The attack began at midnight Earth time. 12 Zarkali warships jumped into Mars orbit. Before the colony could respond, the sky turned red. Energy bombs fell through the atmosphere. Explosions ripped through research centers, homes, and terraforming towers. Fires spread across the red sands. People screamed. Children ran. Oxygen systems cracked and hissed. The Zarkali didn't care. They laughed. They celebrated. "This is the price of standing against us," their captain broadcasted. "This is our final message." He didn't finish the sentence, because Earth had already answered. 6 minutes after the first explosion, space tore open above Mars. Not a jump gate, not a fleet arrival, something else. A pulse, a silent ripple. And then they appeared. The Black Dawn fleet. 30 human warships. No lights, no names. No mercy. They didn't send warnings. They didn't ask for surrender, they remembered. The counterattack was not a battle. It was judgment. Every Zarkali ship above Mars was erased. No escape, no survivors. Each one destroyed with precision, as if Earth had practiced for this moment. The human ships didn't stop. They turned toward the Zarkali homeworld, and they jumped. Zarkali Prime, once proud, once feared, never stood a chance. Within hours, Earth's fleets surrounded it. Their defense systems activated. Their war leaders screamed orders. Then, silence. The humans didn't land. They didn't speak. They dropped orbital rods, ancient Earth weapons, tungsten shafts, fired from space, moving faster than sound. No explosions. It's just devastating impact. One after another. They hit military bases, shipyards, communication towers, every command post. Every general's palace, every lab crushed, gone. Then humanity did something unexpected. They stopped. They left the civilians alive. They left food, water, power, grids untouched. They wanted them to survive, to see, to remember. On the ruins of the Zarkali warlord's palace, a single message was burned into the stone. This is what mercy looks like. There won't be a second time. Across the galaxy, no one cheered, not even Earth. Everyone just watched. In silence, they had crossed the final line, and Earth had answered with fire in the council chamber. Some screamed that it was genocide. Others whispered that the Zarkali deserved worse. Ambassador Trolloc stood slowly. They struck a colony. They killed civilians. He looked around the silent room, and the humans responded as they always do, not with words, but with certainty. "What now?" someone asked. He shook his head. "Now we pray no one else is foolish enough to test them." Back on Earth, the woman in the black suit sat alone in the dark command chamber. No celebration, no joy. Only stillness. A voice behind her said, "They won't try again." She didn't turn. They always say that, until someone forgets. The voice was quiet. "Do you think they understand now?" she whispered. "They understand one thing." Tapped the screen, zooming in on the crater where the Zarkali palace once stood. "That we don't speak warnings. We leave them behind." The galaxy was quiet, but it wasn't peace. It was something deeper, something colder, something earned. The galaxy was holding its breath. Human warships hovered silently. Ancient ruins glowed with warnings. Lost machines whispered forgotten truths. Most species backed away. Most chose silence. Most listened to the fear, but not the Zarkali, even after their first defeat, after their fleet was destroyed. After their shame spread across the stars, they still believed they could win. The Zarkali. High Warlord stood before his generals. "They are bluffing," he said. "They have shown strength, but not punishment. They are testing us. We must show them real power." Some generals hesitated. Others nodded. The warlord pointed to a red dot on the map. Mars, a human colony, growing peaceful, full of civilians. "And researchers?" He grinned. "We strike there. We burn it down. Then we offer peace on our terms." The plan was simple, cruel, fast, no warning, no chance to flee. Just fire. The attack began at midnight Earth time. 12 Zarkali warships jumped into Mars orbit. Before the colony could respond, the sky turned red. Energy bombs fell through the atmosphere. Explosions ripped through research centers, homes, and terraforming towers. Fire spread across the red sands. People screamed. Children ran. Oxygen systems cracked and hissed. The Zarkali didn't care. They laughed. They celebrated. "This is the price of standing against us," their captain broadcasted. "This is our final message." He didn't finish the sentence, because Earth had already answered. 6 minutes after the first explosion, space tore open above Mars. Not a jump gate, not a fleet arrival, something else. A pulse, a silent ripple. And then they appeared. The Black Dawn fleet. 30 human warships. No lights, no names. No mercy. They didn't send warnings. They didn't ask for surrender, they remembered. The counterattack was not a battle. It was judgment. Every Zarkali ship above Mars was erased. No escape, no survivors. Each one destroyed with precision, as if Earth had practiced for this moment. The human ships didn't stop. They turned toward the Zarkali homeworld, and they jumped. Zarkali Prime, once proud, once feared, never stood a chance. Within hours, Earth's fleets surrounded it. Their defense systems activated. Their war leaders screamed orders. Then, silence. The humans didn't land. They didn't speak. They dropped orbital rods, ancient Earth weapons, tungsten shafts, fired from space, moving faster than sound. No explosions. It's just devastating impact. One after another. They hit military bases, shipyards, communication towers, every command post. Every general's palace, every lab crushed, gone. Then humanity did something unexpected. They stopped. They left the civilians alive. They left food, water, power, grids untouched. They wanted them to survive, to see, to remember. On the ruins of the Zarkali warlord's palace, a single message was burned into the stone. This is what mercy looks like. There won't be a second time. Across the galaxy, no one cheered, not even Earth. Everyone just watched. In silence, they had crossed the final line, and Earth had answered with fire in the council chamber. Some screamed that it was genocide. Others whispered that the Zarkali deserved worse. Ambassador Trolloc stood slowly. They struck a colony. They killed civilians. He looked around the silent room, and the humans responded as they always do, not with words, but with certainty. "What now?" someone asked. He shook his head. "Now we pray no one else is foolish enough to test them." Back on Earth, the woman in the black suit sat alone in the dark command chamber. No celebration, no joy, only stillness. A voice behind her said, "They won't try again." She didn't turn. They always say that, until someone forgets. The voice was quiet. "Do you think they understand now?" she whispered. "They understand one thing." She tapped the screen, zooming in on the crater where the Zarkali palace once stood. "That we don't speak warnings, we leave them behind." The galaxy was quiet, but it wasn't peace. It was something deeper, something colder, something earned.